if you understand what I'm saying. My commitment is to see that you thrive. That is in whatever you do, especially starting with you, with your life, what you want to achieve for your life. It is important that you have a strategy, you have a GPS, a map that will take you to your destination, right? The Bible is quite clear. Without a vision, people perish, right? I want you to write that down. So go ahead, grab a pen and a piece of paper. I have some notes right here on the board that we are going to use to help you design your life for 2025. Are you tracking? Why I share the stories, or why I come online to help you have perspective on how to design your life, is simple, right? Because this is my journey. This is my journey of nation building, of becoming a person of influence, becoming someone that can pour into the lives of others so that they can find light in this world. This is what I believe, right? My journey in life has looked like, right? Key story. And I encourage those who are joining right now, begin to share the video, invite more friends, right? So that you don't just leave here with this information alone. You become a blessing to someone. And as you bless them, what happens? We have this trickle down effect where everyone in the community is connected, right? Under this information that brings light and life. Tracking? So when I first came to the United States, I think that was 2014, when I first came to the United States. It was quite amazing when I arrived in Dallas, Texas. And I went out and interacted with the Cameroon community, or the African community, and I observed what our people were doing with their lives, right? I don't know, is everything okay? I look like the screen is blinking. Okay, so when I first arrived, I went out into the community to look at the quality of life of our people. Some were wealthy, they had money, they've had good jobs, and they were making money. Some were into tech, some were nurses, some were doctors, some were truck drivers, some were Uber drivers, some were into home care, some were stylists. So we looked at the life of our people, but most importantly, everyone was insisting that I get into nursing, that is the track, that is the easiest path, right? So we had few people in all these other industries, but predominantly we had Cameroonians who were nurses, and I was encouraged to become a nurse. And I looked at the career tracks of most of the people in our community, and I said one thing, like there's a problem with this kind of a system, right? That we all left our nation looking at the problems that exist within our nation. And here we are in this foreign nation, right? In America, there are diverse ideas, diverse talents. People have all sorts of gifts here in this nation. And for some reason, we are focused on this specific industry called nursing because it pays the bills. It is the easiest and fastest way to make money if you come from this part of the country or you come from this part of the world. I said, there is a problem with that. Now, some people listen to what I said. Some people were, what would you think you are? You just came here. We've been here for 20 years. We've been here for 30 years. So I had all that backlash, but deep in my heart, intuitively, somebody that wants people to do better. I've always want our people to do better. I said there was a problem with the system. And I left that environment. A couple of months later, one gentleman who was attacking me at that event met me and said, what you said resonated with me. I went on to start a business, and today I'm doing fine doing that business. And it's because of what you said that day. So sometimes people might argue with you, especially from our community, but it doesn't mean they are not listening, and it doesn't imply that they won't take action based on what they heard. And so when the crisis started in our country, you realize that most of what we could offer in the diaspora was finances. There was little strategy. There was little help to coordinate the people, right? Because what most immigrants don't know, and this is what they don't tell you, and some people will preach messages like, oh, leave the diaspora, come back home and start a business and do something for our people. And you ask yourself the question, why is it that many leave the diaspora, go back home, and they are not able to start and run successful businesses, start IT companies, and make impact? Most people from Africa, Cameroon in particular, my country of origin, we are here in America under what I call a patronage system. You might want to write that down. I don't know what is blinking. Something is blinking. Is everything okay? So what I call a patronage system, write that down, a patronage system. You see how all of this connects to how you can find who you are, craft a vision for your life this 2025 so that you don't live based on procrastination, but you live an intentional life, right? Because from the time I realized who I was, why God made me and put me on earth, I decided that every single day of my life should have value. I should be able to be accountable as to how I spent that day, what it meant to me. Are you tracking? And does it compound to the overarching purpose of my existence? So why am I saying that? Because the patronage system is that system where you're blocked in that system. It's like a tree and a branch. So that branch is blocked on that tree. So that branch by itself cannot live on its own. That branch can only survive if it is plucked to that tree. So this is how many individuals in the diaspora live. You can see them be successful in a company, but it's just because they are blocked in that company. If you take them out of that company, it is difficult to function independently, start a business independently, and succeed. Why? Because they are living under a patronage system. You might want to write that down, a patronage system. I understand the relevance of community, right? Because you live in a community, or maybe you live within certain industries, you work within certain industries so that you can be able to benefit from maybe diverse talents and experts within that industry. But again, there come a point where you should be able to start your own business and run your own successful business. So when I'm talking about the Cameroon Dream, which is the big picture on this platform, it's about individuals that will nurture, develop, enhance entrepreneurial skills in 7 specific industries, that they will go out there, start businesses in those industries, employ fellow Cameroonians, and gradually take our country out of poverty, while also creating an environment, right? An environment that fosters social corporate responsibility, attracting foreign direct investment so that we can be able to 5x, 10x our production capacity, the development of our nation. Are you tracking? So now a patronage system doesn't allow you to function independently. Your success is tied to your connection to this tree. If you're plucked out of that tree, you lose every source of income or your ability to produce. So how do you come out of the system? Which is why I will tie everything down to what I'm explaining here. How do you come out of the system? You become a seed. So the only way you can be able to become a tree is to be a seed. You cannot remain a branch under a patronage system and be able to stand out and start your own business, or pluck yourself out of the tree and start your own business. The only way you can start your own business is to become a seed and not a branch. So as a branch, you cannot survive. That is why you live in the diaspora for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and then you cannot go back home and start a business in any of those industries that you work for abroad and succeed, because you were being driven not by entrepreneurship, but by the patronage system. That is, your success is predicated on you getting plucked in this company. Are you understanding? So this is how we begin to deduce all of these concepts and philosophies and ways of life so that we can be able to get to the root cause of the problem, come up with strategies, come up with hypotheses, test those hypotheses, and be able to come up with prototypes. And with those prototypes, we can have models that can help us build successful businesses no matter where you find yourself around the world. Are you tracking? So it is a very known fact. Like we leave maybe Cameroon, or you are in Cameroon, we travel around the world, we study, we want to be better. Every human being loves to be valued. Self-worth, your worth, what you are, how people see you, perceive you, is an integral part of every human being. We want to be valued. We want to believe that we are worth something. This is a very integral part of every human being. So now, the only way people value you in society as a human being is based on your ability. Now, ability is not sufficient, which is why I'm talking about being a seed. So write this down. How do you become a seed in a foreign nation, in Cameroon? That a seed that becomes a tree. Ability. Number one is ability. Ability is amazing by itself. You see someone speak, you say they have the charisma, they have the ability. You see someone play soccer, you say, oh, they play good, they have the ability. You see someone talk well, and you look at them and you say, oh, this individual has the ability. You see a child that does well in physics, they are creative to a certain dimension, you say they have ability. So ability is one thing. Ability is potential. But performance is what gives you self-worth. So you can have the ability, which is the potential to produce, to perform, to write, to act. But what distinguishes you in the marketplace is your ability to perform. I can have all of this knowledge in my brain, but if I cannot structure this knowledge, put it in such a way that it conveys a story that can enhance the quality of your life, this knowledge is worthless. So ability is not enough. Your performance is what guarantees your self-worth. So when you value someone, you buy whatever they are selling, you give to their cause, you support their cause, it is based on their ability to perform or their performance. When you look at celebrities in our community, like Samuel Eto'o and many others, Francis Ngannou, these individuals are celebrated because of their ability to perform. It's not just the potential, which is the ability, it is also their performance. And that is why we value and we call them celebrities. So this goes across different strata and sectors in society, including family. There's a reason why you look up to a certain brother, uncle, cousin, nephew in the family. So everything boils down to performance. They know how to solve problems in a family. They can help financially when there is a crisis. They know how to direct and show up when people need help in the family. That is performance. And so these individuals are, by default, regarded as valuable. And so with that, their self-worth goes up. So if you want to increase your self-worth, be respected, there is no other way but to perform at a level that people respect and value you when you walk into the room. Everyone that you see that is respected, celebrated, praised around the world is because of their ability to perform. Are you tracking? So that is very important. Now, why am I saying this? Because we come from a society where if someone performs, that is, they have not just potential, but the ability to perform that wows us. If we can't be that, we sabotage this. If we can't be that, we tell them, be humble. Who do you think you are? We devalue their performance if we cannot be that, instead of learning from them. And so we try to devalue their self-worth in spite of their performance. But this doesn't imply that if you perform, you be arrogant. This doesn't imply that if you perform, you treat people a certain way because they value you, they esteem you. This doesn't warrant you treating people a certain way because of your performance. Are you tracking? Now, what do you do when you identify someone that performs? Because in order for you to become seed that grows and becomes a tree, because we've seen that being a branch cannot take you far in life, it is only becoming a seed that can take you far in life. So now, how do you learn? You need a map to be successful in life, and that is why it is essential that you ask yourself the question, how do I become successful? Now, what has been studied by many self-help gurus across time is that the map to success is very simple. You look for someone, a nation, an individual that is successful in whatever industry that is that you desire to be successful in, and then you model the patterns that led them to become successful. And if you study that over time, there is a high chance that you, by default or by practice, by mimicking, will be successful. Are you tracking? So you need a map or GPS, you need a guide, someone to coach you, and you need tools. That is, you need the skills or the tools to perform so that you can get results, so that you can be that tree, right? A seed need good ground. A seed need to be watered. A seed need to be pruned, need to be taken care of. A seed needs everything that it needs to become a tree. And if you don't have that, you can still have a seed and that seed dies and never become a tree. So that is the whole thing. So you need a map, you need a guide, and you need tools. You need this. So when I see someone that is successful, the first question is, what are they doing that I'm not doing? I was talking to a gentleman from Cameroon a couple of days ago. Fascinating. Has great ambitions to become great in life, right? He's pushing really hard because I'm that kind of an individual that was blessed to identify talent in people, and I was blessed to nurture talent in people. I believe that my life was never designed for me. My life was designed to bless others. That is, I only find fulfillment in the process of enhancing the life of others. Are you tracking? So when I'm helping others, that is where my dream is being achieved. So I only become successful by helping others succeed. Are you tracking? So I look at what he was doing, right? And I was able to understand what everything boils down to. Like, you can have this huge dream, but if you don't have what we call alignment, you will suffer. Say alignment, write that down. So alignment is huge. I'm talking to entrepreneurs, those who want to build businesses in Cameroon, those who have dreams in their heart, those who still believe in the nation, no matter where you find yourself, those who are big thinkers. Those are the individuals that I'm talking to. If you can't comprehend what I'm saying, then this message is not for you. I'm talking to big thinkers. I'm talking to those who have dreams and ambitions, and they've stepped out there and doors have been shut before their face. People have told them they are no good. People in the community don't believe in you. Those who have achieved already don't see anything good in you. When you come with your project, they shut it down. Those are the individuals I'm talking to. Are you tracking? So alignment is number one. Your belief system must align with who you are and with what you do. Again, I say your belief, you believe about your life what you believe about God, what you believe about your fellow human being must align with who you are and what you do if you will be successful. If you don't have alignment, you will struggle. So one thing I realized with this gentleman was, in as much as he has all this huge ambition to partner with global figures to become successful, he is also a Pan-Africanist. And if you know the story well, most Pan-Africanists are anti-government. They are anti-African government. So by default, you can't be a Pan-Africanist and also want to partner with global companies and succeed. You can only partner most of the time with companies that offer charity, and that is it for you. If there is any business that is doing well at the global standard that you want to partner with, you can't have those ideologies because they don't align, right, with global views. So it is impossible for you to be a Pan-Africanist and also wanting to be a global player in certain industries, because that idea of pan is very limiting. We can go into all of the nuances and semantics about that entire concept and how limiting it is for Africans, right? You have to ask a lot of questions to understand even what some people can go around life struggling with some limited concepts and don't understand where they got it from and waste their entire existence thinking that they were making sense or adding value to the lives of others. So your belief system must align. And that is the problem we have in our country, say Cameroon, right? We want the fruits of democracy, but we also want the comfort of monarchy. I repeat, we love the fruits, not the labor of democracy, not the principles of democracy, not the values of democracy. We want the fruits of democracy, but we want the comfort of monarchy. So how do you balance the two? You can't have one, right, and the other at the same time. You either have democracy and its values and that goes in to experience a democratic nation, because I believe it all starts with you. So this whole project of nation building, designing your life, it starts with you. From what you believe, from what you think about yourself. This is how we come together as a community and then start saying, this is what we want as a community. This is what we want as a region. This is what we want as a nation. And then we elect officials that will go on to implement what we, the people, want. Every democratic government is predicated on this principle. The government of, by, and for the people. So this is what you should be enjoying under democracy. But it also requires that you have to let go of certain values and culture in order to achieve democracy. Remember what I said here, that the only way you can be successful is to model successful people. If it's possible, walk the way they walk. If it's possible, talk the way they talk. If it's possible, act the way they act. If it's possible, read the books that they read. If it's possible, believe in the God that they believe in. One of the most fascinating stories that I find in the Bible, and this will help you have perspective on this journey, is the story of Ruth in the Bible. Ruth and Naomi, the Moabite, right? This woman lost the husband, and the mother-in-law was moving to her village. And this woman said, I'm going to follow you. Now, there were two women. And in this generation, we always have two types of people. There were two women married to this woman's two sons. And this woman lost both sons and lost the husband. And so she was sad and perplexed, confused, and decided to go back to her hometown. Now, one of the daughter-in-laws said, I'll go back to my people, while the other daughter-in-law says, I'm going to follow you, my mother-in-law. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. That is fascinating that you see success, duty, responsibility, passion, and your desire to become successful in life. That you said, I'm dropping everything and I will follow this woman. Right. And this is exactly what I just did, even for my own life, that I saw the system that works for Americans. I studied it. I saw the thinking, free of jealousy, free of nepotism, right? There'll always be some certain degree of variance when it comes to jealousy, nepotism, hatred in a community, right? You can completely eliminate. We don't live in a perfect world, right? But I saw the level of collaboration, intensity, growth, development, and progress that goes into the American system, that I said, I will learn this system, right? Successful people, you copy what other successful people do. It is the easiest way to become successful. So now, what is my point? This woman decided to follow the mother-in-law. What happened? She was favored by Boaz. Boaz, a man that finally got married to her because she followed her mother-in-law. Through her lineage came Jesus. She came into the picture because of that decision that she made. The other lady, Orpah, that went back, we never heard about her. But this lady that decided to follow the mother-in-law, her story was different. And she said something so powerful. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. I mean, there's nothing as powerful as saying, as a human being, I'm willing to discard my beliefs, my culture, my God, to follow a God that will work for me and change the condition of my people. There's nothing as powerful as that. Now, so your belief in who you are and what you do must align. Without that, forget it. Try as much as you can. You can't have democracy, desire the fruits of democracy, but want to do the work that reflects monarchy. We either go with monarchy or we go with democracy. Having both is confused. And if you look at another nation that has both and you think this can become your system, my question to you is, what path and what is the plan and how long will it take you? The easiest path is to choose one. When you choose one thing, your life becomes simplified. And it also goes with career. One thing. Choose one thing and focus on that one thing. Become good at that one thing. Become known at that one thing. This one thing I know, forgetting everything that is behind me and looking forward to the call of the high call. You got to look for that one thing. And I look up to the mark of the high calling. You have to choose that one thing. And you have to make sure that your beliefs and what you are and what you do align. And that is what will start helping you have focused direction and generating income at a level that you've never experienced before. Are you tracking? Now, this is what you should know today. And that is why I'm taking many under my wings to lead you, nurture you to become the leader that you're supposed to be, right? Both physically, spiritually, mentally. From there, give you skills and a map that will help you achieve your dream. And why is that? Because we live in a generation where general knowledge is dead. Many people go to school, get degrees that they never use in the real world to get a job. These degrees, they can't even start a business with these degrees. With the degrees that they went to college and got, they can't be able to manage a business or start a business or have a successful life because of the degrees. So general knowledge is dead. Right now, we are in a dispensation where specialized knowledge is what sells. So you should be looking for specialized knowledge instead of general knowledge. You can acquire general knowledge, but you need specialized knowledge to generate sustainable income. Are you tracking? Are you tracking? Specialized. That is why you see courses are everywhere on the internet. Everywhere. People are selling courses right now. Why? They have a skill. They have an experience. They have a knowledge in a specific industry that they are able to package together and sell as a course. And I can buy that course in 2 months. I can learn everything that they know about that industry. And that is a shortcut to success. I can go start the business. I can increase my performance at my organization because of this specialized knowledge packaged as a course. Are you tracking? So you can get specialized knowledge from your career, your life experience, or passion. Any of those. No matter what you're doing, you should be able to have a knowledge product that you sell, information product that you sell. You should have a knowledge base or information product that accompanies whatever it is you're selling. And that is where I've been going to with all of this. But all of this, because right now, whatever you know, there's someone in the community that needs it, and you can package that and sell for a small fee, or maybe you can go high ticket, and that information is premium and it can help that individual start and grow. Why? Because where you are right now, right, it took you some time to get there, and there is someone that is starting that journey, and what you've learned, you can sell to them, right, and they can be able to start on a good path. And with that, we have better communities, better society. You're helping others live their dreams while you're making more money based on this information product that you have. So that is what I will be teaching us on this journey as we look at building our nation. And if you are an entrepreneur, no matter the country you come from, wherever you find yourself around the world, you want to start and run a successful business, you should have an information product. The personal development industry, specialized knowledge industry has been around for a very long time. That is why you go to school, but some others go to a mechanic shop. Some others go to a carpentry shop. Why? Within 1 year, 2 years, they can be able to put wood together. While others go to school to study forestry or study how to build a house. But others go to the mechanic shop or go to a carpentry shop, and they come out and they're able to build chairs. They're able to build houses. They're able to make beds. Why? Because of specialized knowledge. So this specialized knowledge that you see in carpentry, in the mechanic shop, you can have this specialized knowledge being taught as well in accounting, in banking, in finance, in how to run a successful agriculture, maybe poultry farm, whatever that is. We can be able to channel this into different industries. And it could be relationships, whatever it is that you have experience in. Today, we don't have many people with good marriages teaching people how to stay married. You can start probably a course on how to stay married, maybe because you've been married for 25 years. So you can teach people how to stay married. Why? Because you have been married for 25 years. We want more people with experience teaching others in the community what their success story looks like so that they can be successful. And that can be a product that you don't just give out there for free. You package it and sell for a premium or for a particular price and be able to make some money. I'm going to go deep into this, but this is just the foundation. But first, none of this will happen if you don't understand your ability, performance, and self-worth, and understanding that you need to become a seed. That is why if you come in here with your mind stopped, you won't receive anything. If you come in here with something that you claim you know already, you won't receive anything. I want to share something, then I'll wrap up this session. I'm just throwing seeds, right? I'm hope something is landing on your body or something is getting on the ground, right? So I'm throwing seeds, but I want you to understand this framework. That we'll go into how you would do this to make money with it, right? But this was the whole idea. You must believe. One of the biggest problems I saw with the system, I've been blessed to be in America. I love this country to death. Americans have given many nations prosperity without giving them the heart that created the wealth. And so you can, and because why? Of cultural sensitivity. People want to be sensitive about other people's culture. There's a culture produce a certain level of wealth in the community, right? The way you believe, act, and think in the community will determine the degree of wealth that a community is able to produce, GDP wise, right? So if we look at the way our community is, what we are producing is because of what we believe. So what changed everything for me was the book, The Protestant Work Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism, because I got to understand that those who came over here, especially those who practice Calvinism, they understood something so peculiar, that there is no way for us to succeed if we don't believe that this God really wants us to be successful. They were living at a time where they were taught that it is hard for them to make it into heaven. And so they believed that the only way for them to make it to heaven is to be productive here on earth and be a blessing to God's people. And because of that mindset, the Calvinists became extremely hardworking. They became productive. They started creating stuff. They developed what we call the Protestant work ethic. And that work ethic actually produced wealth at an alarming rate that we've never seen in the history of humanity. Why am I sharing this? That wealth in itself is not enough if you don't have all the spirit that created wealth. That is why Adam Smith wrote the theory of moral sentiment before he went on to write the book, The Wealth of Nations. So before The Wealth of Nations, there was the theory of moral sentiment. Many people talk about the Wealth of Nations specialization, but people don't really talk about the theory of moral sentiment. And why am I sharing that? You must have a certain level of belief about wealth and a God that helps you to create that wealth in order for you to harness that wealth and preserve that wealth. Wealth has a spirit. That is why you see most of the successful nations on earth are predominantly Christian nations. It is for a purpose. The people have a certain way that they believe about themselves, and it's all connected to the God that they serve. And because of that, they believe nothing is impossible for them. Like what is happening in California right now, right? I believe that we've lived in a time where maybe we've diverted away from God, but I know that America will bounce back. I know that whatever is happening in California is going to turn around for good. God will always get the glory at the end of the day. Are you tracking? I know that America will bounce back. Why? Because I know that the mindset to produce wealth rooted in the Judea worldview is eminent in everything that this country or in everything that this country has become. So I never lose track of that. And that is why you see even us as Christians are not afraid of death. We said to live is Christ and to die is gain. And why is these are the values, the core values that we embody as Christians. So it is very, very important that we put that in context when we are talking of nation building and wealth creation. If you're not a Christian, you might have struggles with this. You will have the symbols of wealth, but you will never have true wealth. Symbols of wealth is a house. A symbol of wealth is a bank account with $1 million. A symbol of wealth is a Rolls Royce. It's how you dress to impress people, right? Because when you have low self-esteem, the only way that you can come across as somebody who is valuable or important is to dress apart, look successful, but you are not really successful. That's why you see somebody show up, they have a $2,000 suit, but they don't have up to $2,000 in their bank account. You see what I'm saying? It's low self-esteem. So when you don't have the belief, the values that created wealth, there's a high chance that that wealth is just a superficial, right, wealth. What you have as wealth is just the symbol of wealth. The mindset to create wealth is true wealth. The ability to create wealth is true wealth. The ability to perform and get results is true wealth, not the symbol or the status that you call your self-worth. Are you tracking? So as we wrap up this session, what I learned from the Protestant work ethics actually changed everything for me. And people have studied, right? People have learned, people have gone deep into human psychology, evolution, even what you see today and call your tradition, your culture. All of this are stages of life. Where you are, every other group of people on earth have been, or some group of people on earth have been at that stage. And then they evolve to another stage. So don't get stuck on anything in this world. And there's nothing like a slave or a master. Both those who think they are slaves and those who think they are masters are all living in ignorance. And you assuming a status of either a slave, which is feeling like you have no power, and you feeling like a master exerting power on the slave, both live in ignorance. A man of high standard, a man of high value, an enlightened human being is the one that has the consciousness that there's neither slave nor free. Are you tracking? That there's neither a slave or an oppressor. You have that kind of balanced perspective. You are an evolved man. So I just thought I'd let that sink in. But my whole goal for this is you should be able to get to the place where you are seed, and wherever you plant yourself, you can spread around and feed others. And you're not living under a patronage system where if you're plucked out, you get dried up because there was nothing in you. Your success was superficial because it was connected to the person that you are in relationship with. You need to be able to stand on your own feet and duplicate that system. And that is what God wants for us, that you can go into any other part of the world and preach the gospel and get results. That is what God wants for you in wealth as well. Wherever you go, you should be able to start the same system around the world and have it function. And so we have to go into all of those limitations or factors that are hindering us and be able to address them so that we can have results, because it is scientific. Success is scientific. In as much as it is an art, it is also scientific. I hope you've gotten some value out of this. So the whole idea was to design your life. So go ahead, right, and be able to come up with a map. Where do I want to be by the end of 2025? Where do you want to be? What do you want to have? Right? Where do you see yourself by the end of 2025? Career-wise, business. Where do you see yourself before the end of 2025? Write that down. Nothing is impossible for us. We can make this thing, right? You can build it. God has you on earth for a purpose. There's something inside of you. The plan of the enemy is to let you know that you're nothing, that you're worth nothing, that you're confined in this environment. It is nothing that your life can become. And you got to write it down. I will be XYZ before the end of 2025. I want to have this. Right? Write that down. What does your relationship look like before the end of 2025? It's not just money in the bank account. What is your relationship like with your wife, with your husband? What is your relationship like with your children? What is your relationship like with you and God? You got to write that down and have a plan, right? And not just want to get money, but also have a holistic life. That is essential to build a society or community that thrives. So go ahead and write down what your life looks like by the end of 2025. And then we are going to come up with a map in our next session. And also, I would love you guys to put questions. I love people asking questions so that we can be able to have some of these topics addressed in this whole process of nation building. We are going to start maybe the next segment with those pillars that can help us build a nation. Like, okay, this nation, this is what it is right now. How do we take it from where it is to where we find ourselves? And if you're in the diaspora, how can you tap into something that is valuable, skill, career, whatever that is valuable, and make a major contribution to your life and that back home? And one thing I want to add, and then I'll let you go. Those who think that because they have lived in America and they go back home and they feel like they learn nothing in America and all they have to offer is money, I think you're living in error as well. You have something more to offer, right? Don't be limited by the environment or the community that you find yourself in. Think outside of the box. You have more to offer to your people, and it's okay. It is fine. If you think that you have nothing to offer because you live in America, you think there's something that makes you look humble, then there is no need for you coming over here if you go back and there's nothing to add to your community or the lives of the people. That is not humility. If you think that is humility, that you go back and think you don't know anything, that is not humility. And if you're back home and you look at someone from the diaspora who have studied, has experience and is coming back to add value to the community, and you tell them, oh, because you're from America, that is why you want to impose, that is arrogance. That is not humility. We should be able to learn from one another. The independence that Africa has today is because some people left that continent, went abroad, studied, came back and added value. In my life, truth be told, I don't really focus on the whole thing of someone being arrogant. If at all, they will add value to my life. My life becoming transformed is more important to me than how the person presented that information to me, honestly. Are you tracking? Yes, if you really have surgery, you have pain, you should be focused on getting relief, how the doctor helps you to get relief. Now, I'm not saying the doctors should not be calm, polite, but I'm saying if I'm in a desperate situation and I need help, that help is more important for me, right, than how that individual is behaving towards me. So we have to be able to balance both to have a functioning society. Are you tracking? A quick story. I remember my wife was helping someone back home that was struggling, was pregnant, and she was about to carry out an operation because the baby won't come out. And my wife was able to look at that situation, did a little bit of research, and came up with some few exercises. The doctors back home were proposing surgery. Some people thought this was witchcraft. Some people thought the baby has been tied in the womb. But she did a little bit of research and understand this is a scientific malfunction, a biological malfunction. And through exercise, you can solve that problem, certain exercise. And she was able to propose that. And because she did, this lady was able to give birth safely. Without the surgery, which was maybe supposed to be worth maybe 4 million francs, they didn't have to do any surgery. So there's someone in the diaspora that has their mind in the right place, that can speak life in your situation, can give you direction and wisdom, that can really change your life, and it has nothing to do with money, but the quality of your life can be enhanced based on good information. That is why I'm talking about knowledge, specialized knowledge in this generation. There are plethora of information at our disposal. We have to learn how to work with each other. I might not give you 10 million francs, but I have an idea that is worth 100 million francs that can change your life forever. And if you come to me and ask that information, humbly, respectfully, and someone that feels like they want to do something amazing with their lives and help make the community better, and that will be worth more than any amount of money that you will receive from me. Are you tracking? I hope you got some value out of this video. We'll be addressing some of the social ills, societal ills as we proceed with this nation building initiative. I believe in 2025 with all my heart. I know this year is a year of promise. We are from a nation where we have in our national anthem a land of promise. So Cameroon is the promised land. Right? So the Cameroon dream is being achieved in the land of promise, in the land of glory. So until next time, stay blessed, share the video, invite some friends. We have a WhatsApp group where we have some interactive conversations. We are putting up some structures to make sure that Nation Builders University is functioning. But for the meantime, engage, be part of what this movement is all about. We are launching a 10,000-man movement. Get involved and understand what that initiative is all about, so that you take some of these ideas and you're going to run with these ideas into your own communities, right? If you project leadership qualities, we will nurture you, pour in you, and you go out there, create groups. And that is how we empower the private sector in a way that we've never done before. And with that, we'll be able to cooperate with our government, create that ecosystem for productivity and development that will enhance our economy and better the nation. Are you tracking? So every Cameroonian, regardless of where you are, get involved. If you have heart for the nation, especially entrepreneurs, visionaries, those who dare to dream big, those who want to do something amazing with their lives, I encourage you to engage, whether you're home or abroad. This opportunity is legendary and it's once in a lifetime, and you can't afford to miss. Until next time, stay blessed.